loud, free, and it's back. The metal event of the year, Peace Fest 91, is coming up in Cape Girardeau. Our guests today are in the business of rock and roll music, and to some extent what you might call heavy metal, something that many people may or may not be familiar with. If you're over the age of 35, you may not know what we're talking about, but anyone younger, especially in the teens, certainly knows what metal is. We'd like to welcome our guest, Timexx Nasty from Cape Girardeau. Wow. He is the lead vocalist for Beggars Jury. That's a group. Heather Coven plays bass and is a background vocalist with a St. Louis metal group, Dunwich. Good to have you with us, Heather. And Dee Voiles is rhythm and lead vocalist for the same group, Dunwich. An all-girls group, is that it?
No. We have a guy drummer, but the three girls.
Equal opportunity then. Yeah. This is an event. We might describe what it is. It's a concert that brings together, this year, 6 or 8?
Yeah, well, about 4 to 5 bands. There's one band's going to do all acoustic set, but we're not sure if they're for sure going to be there yet or not. So it'll be at least 5, maybe 6.
And this is the second or third year?
The second year we did this. Yeah, we did it last year up at the park. People drove by that might have remembered seeing it. It went real well. We got everybody off of Broadway and had about 300 people showed up.
Stop the cruising.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It was that good, huh?
That was that good.
So it is what we'd call in the old days a rock and roll concert. They call it a metal event. It's going to be, better get the date in here, May 25th. Yeah. At the Kappahaw Park Band Shell in Cape Girardeau. Begins at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and ends at 9. Rather unusual hours. 4 to 9, I would think something like 7 to 11 or something like that.
Well, we wanted to go through till, like 11, maybe 12 o'clock, but with it being in a residential area like that, the city thought, well, if you guys could end about 9, would be better off. And I would have liked to start, it may start yet around 3, we're not sure, between 3 and 4. I'd like to start a little earlier, but, most kids that listen to metal aren't out of bed till 4, so at least I'm not. So we thought, well, that's a good time to start it.
You guys work nights then?
Well, yeah.
That's when they can. Let me read something here about Dunwich. Start with some pure speed metal, add a dash of trash. Is that it?
Thrash.
Thrash, okay. Thrash, all right, now I see it better. Mix in some hardcore and classical influence. Give it life with a couple of 1,000 watts of power. Sound confusing? It isn't. It's Dunwich, a St. Louis-based metal quartet that's quickly making a name for itself with local audiences. Although not quite 2 years old, the band has already made impressive strides toward its final goal, and that being the big time.
Yep.
You people are in business, is that right?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Well, how are you doing so far? Tell us about the progress of the group.
That's great so far. We just got out of the studio a month ago.
Made a 6-song demo called Man Man with the Head Rush. And we're going to be sending it to management and record labels and try to get a name for ourselves, try to play out more. We just started playing here in Cape Girardeau. We played at a place called Danny's about 2 weeks ago. And playing St. Louis.
So first of all, you get together some good musicians.
Oh, yeah.
Some talented people.
Mm-hmm. Very talented.
But that doesn't guarantee success, is that right?
Oh, no.
All right.
No way.
That's just the beginning.
Lots of work.
Just the beginning, but people would say you've cut a demo, you're talking you're talking about booking, you're out concerts, and yet you call this just the beginning.
Yeah.
For most people, the career would be well along, but you're just at the beginning. How did you get together? Are the people in the group all friends, or?
None of us knew each other until we met up to jam. Me and the lead guitar player, Kim Fanning, we met 2 years ago through a mutual friend, and we jammed together for about 6 months, and it was still Dunwich, but we had a different guitar player, a rhythm guitar player, and a different drummer, and we played a show, and Dee was there, and, and she liked us, and we played there again. We lost the other guitar player. We played as a 3-piece, and Dee was there, asked us if we need another guitar player, and we were looking for one. We wanted to get another girl, so that's when Dee came in the band. Then a couple months later, our drummer quit.
We found Dave.
Yeah,
Dave is our drummer, because I live right by Dave in the same area. And at first I started out as just playing rhythm guitar, and Heather sang for a while. And I don't know how that change came about. We wrote a song, and I put the words to it, and I was like, oh, let me try to sing it, and I sung it, and we just...
When I started getting lazy about singing, I wanted to work on my bass.
Yeah.
And she wanted to sing, so we just pretty much made the switch. And it put off our demo tape for a couple months until she could get used to singing and get the vocals down and learn all the lyrics. And I wanted to change some of the bass lines.
So this is a band that has really come together, people that did not know each other, and yet now you got the demo tape out. Now let's explain to people what a demo tape is. You go and make a recording of some of your music.
We go into a studio, we pick out a studio that we all agree on and that we like. We set up dates that we're going to go in there. We cut separate tracks for every musician in the band, and it just comes together in the end, and we mix it, and if we like it, we keep it. If we don't, we redo it. A lot of retakes. We have to be very happy with it.
And you talk about mixing, too. We want to point out, you record every instrument. The vocals, everything is recorded separately.
Except the bass and the drums
are
are
rhythm
recorded
track.
together.
The main rhythm track is recorded together.
And then they mix it together. This is not inexpensive, I take it.
Oh,
No.
not by a long shot.
So how do you come up with the money?
You find financial backings.
Financial backing.
People to loan you the money, you pay them back through, we're planning on paying ours back through sales of the tape and shows. So, or you have to have money to start with. It's a lot of money. You can't go into it thinking it's only going to run you $300–400 and want to come out with an excellent sounding tape. You're looking at about $1,000, maybe a little more than that for a really good quality tape.
And that's not to mention the cassette cover, the J card, the inside, and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And
expensive.
are buying the tape and all of that. That is really something. So you all really, in a way, are entrepreneurs, is that right?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I think you could classify us.
We don't have a manager right now, so we are winging it ourselves right now, doing everything ourselves.
I think we're doing fine.
Yeah.
Our manager probably could help us out in the end, but as far as things go now, we're doing just fine.
Couldn't you hire a manager?
Good one's hard to find.
Yeah, we've had a couple offers, but it's got to be the right, you have to trust them, and you have to get along with them. You have to have the same, they have to believe in you enough to let you be creative on your own.
Yeah. Considering we're girls, they want us to wear different clothes and change our hair color, and we're just not in it for that. We're in it just to play music and perform.
So we're still
It's not all
looking.
fix-up thing for us. We just like it.
We're seeing more more women, I should say. We use term women or girls, whatever, whichever. But we're seeing more of them in music. Used to, you know, it was a rarity, and now you see the bands, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but some I've seen are really good. You know, it used to be almost like something put together in a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they came out and they recorded, you know, and there were a lot of one-hit groups. But I mean, a lot of the girl bands now and the performers are excellent.
Yeah, girls, it's starting to become more well-known and more common. It's not, girl used, you know, 10 years ago, a girl wanted to play guitar, she'd play guitar, but it wasn't, I want to form a band, I want to go on tour and get signed. It was more like, yeah, I'll play guitar, you know, maybe in a weekend band or something. But now, girls we'll play a show and there'll be, you know, it's like 14, 15-year-old girls will come up to us. I want to get in a band, I want to play.
You totally inspire us.
Yeah,
That's
like,
great.
cool.
We're like, cool, yeah.
Go out and pick your instrument.
Show society is changing. Have you, has your group got any girls in the band?
No.
All guys, huh?
All guys.
Beggars Jury is what, less than a year old as a group, is that right?
Yeah, actually, as Beggars Jury, we were together previously called Briar Rose. We played the Peace Fest last year. We headlined out, did some stuff with some major bands before, and did a lot of things like that. What ended up happening was we had a fallout with two of the members of the band, the drummer and the bass player at the time, and when we played Peace Fest, a group called Thunder Ash, it opened up for us, and we was really impressed with their drummer and their bass player, and they were having problems. So we took the two bands apart, put these all together, ended up with Beggars Jury, and you know, that's kind of how it took two bands that weren't real good, put them both together, and made one killer band.
Here's a group, you've had two new members come into your group, right?
Since the very beginning,
Yeah,
yes.
and you've had, what, two new members?
Yeah, in this group.
So a lot of this is getting together then.
Yeah, well, actually, me and Kenny, the lead guitarist, we met about 3 years ago. I was in a band called Stage Crew, and he was in a band called Sweet Cheater. And we were playing a show, and his band was over on the side laughing at us and throwing stuff at us, going, "Oh, man, no, you guys aren't any good." And so we were going to fight, I think, at the end. And I met him later on when Stage Crew broke up, and he was out of a band. We were like, well, that's cool. Let's get together. We've been through lots and lots of bands. We was in Forcer. We was in Passion Play, Briar Rose, and about 1 million other groups. And just me and him just kind of stuck together and finally ended up with this. And we're hoping now to finally this will be the one to go.
Corporate infighting, we would call it, right?
Yeah, that's...
We'll continue our report and our discussion on heavy metal. Peace Fest 91 coming up Saturday, May 25th, 4 to 9 p.m. at Kappahaw Park in Cape Girardeau. We'll be back in just a moment. Kappahaw Park, that's from 4 to 9 p.m. on May 25th. That's a Saturday. And this, by the way, is at the band shell. That's on the west side of Kappahaw Park, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for it there. Why in the world did you organize this? There's no admission. It's free entertainment. So you people are out here to make money, right?
Yeah.
You're giving away, what, 2 or 3, you know, I was going to shoot a whole day. Your group is coming down from St. Louis. Is this a loss leader, as they say in the business world?
No, actually what it is, it's a way of helping out the community, helping out the music scene. There's several shows throughout the year that I'm not going to mention any, but, you know, that never really mention any of the local groups. And, you know, especially rock groups. It's all country. They promote the country scene, but they never mention the rock groups. And there's some really, really good bands around here. So last year, we'd all gotten fed up with, you know, nobody giving us a chance, nobody doing anything. The local radio doesn't want to mention us until now. And so now it's like, we did this show, we got all the bands together, all the bands, you know, they all help out, they all put flyers out, we all get out, tell people about it, we all bring people, they all show up that day and help set everything up. And it's a way of everybody getting together and helping to tell people, hey, there really are good bands in you know, in the Midwest. They're not all in LA, they're not all in New York, they're not all in England. There are some good bands right here in this area. And, you know, there's been local bands that have made it. King of the Hill just came out of St. Louis. They're a national act now. Tora Tora come out of Memphis. There's a group called Banshee came out of Kansas City. The Eyes in St. Louis just got signed. Front Runner. There's all kind of bands now that are being signed to major labels. And, you know, we're hoping people will realize, you know, there are good bands in this area. And, you know, come see the show, have a good time. And we're also going to... It holds a lot of purposes, really. Greenpeace is going to come out. They're going to hand out things. So we're going to get an environmental point across, you know, tell people, because even though last year I think there was the big Earth Day, everybody was really big into it, let them know, well, there still is a problem. It didn't end after Earth Day. People didn't do everything. So, you know, we're going to let people know about that, make some other points. It's
good promotional, too.
It's good promotion. People come out. I think they're going to have their tapes there. Hopefully ours will be done by then, and ours will be.
And if someone wants to buy a tape, you're not going to say no.
No, yeah. If they want to buy a tape, well,
no does not come out of our mouths in that situation.
Just for the from people who might wonder, how much do you get for one of your tapes?
Oh, we're charging $6 for our tape.
That's
6 songs.
Yeah, that's price really hasn't changed since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
It was a buck a song then for a record.
Well, it's after you get into CDs and it gets a little higher, but you know.
A little bit more
It's
expensive.
pretty cheap. Most bands, there's Steel, they're going to be there. They're from St. Louis. They've got a new album out too called Lake of Fire. And ours should be out hopefully next month. It'll be called Just Because We Can. Lots of groups in the area have tapes out, and you know, they're mostly run between $5, $6, $7. So
that's a good buy, and that's something different too, because there again, when I was your age, you know, there was no way to record. And so as a result, if you liked the local group, you just had to go and listen. You couldn't take the music home. You play concerts, right?
Yeah.
Is there much money in this part of the country, in St. Louis, Southeast Missouri? Oh, I just saw the eagle. I take it you don't pay the bills on what you make off concerts.
No, we all have outside jobs.
Yeah, it's more, I mean, our parents, they're like, are you going to get paid for this show? They always want to know if you're going to get money. And
well, yeah, there's that time frame too where you don't really make anything, and then after you finally get through those years of starving and selling everything you own, and you know, really just living with holy jeans
for money, and
being beggars actually, and then you break through. You know, you get to that point where it's, you know, mega money from then on out.
Do you have trouble getting bookings in St. Louis?
No, we're friends with a lot of other bands in St. Louis, a lot of other thrash bands there. and they're headlining acts, so we get shows with them. We get our own shows. It's real easy. There's not a lot of places to play. Another place is closing down, we just found out. Another thrash bar. Another bar, health inspector came in on them, so they're shut down for a little while.
That was well-deserved, I might add. It's well-deserved.
We won't mention the name of the bar.
No.
I don't.
There's one like here in town that it's called Danny's, where I first seen them at, and they come down and play. It's in Sky City, and they book bands, which is, you know, pretty good. A lot of local groups, the bands that don't even have tapes out yet, and otherwise wouldn't get to play there.
It was a great experience.
Yeah,
That was
it's a neat.
lot of fun.
I'd never been to Cape before we played there. We played there that night, and it was a different crowd response. We're used to the St. Louis scene, you know, and people come in our shows, and we know who they are. But we came down here, and we're like, oh no, we're all by ourselves. You know, our friends came with us, so we knew they were going to be there. And these people, they really got into us. It was great. And when we talked to Timexx, and he's like, play again, play again. We're like, we'll play. No
It's
problem.
interesting too when you go out of town and play shows. Like we have the same thing. When we go to St. Louis, our following's here, and we know, okay, we can play here and really tear up. The kids are going to come out. You go to another town, nobody knows you. If they really enjoy your show and they get into it, then you know, well, you know, we are doing something right. It's not just because they know us.
Yeah, because we always kind of wondered that, too. Is it just because it's our friends and people we know?
Have you ever gone someplace and the audience didn't like you?
Always. Always. I mean, not every show we play or anything, but there's always that time when you play someplace. And
Maybe it's...
You have your off nights, like you have off nights at band practice, you have off nights at
I don't think it was a thing if they didn't like us or not. I just think we just had an off night as a band.
Yeah,
sometimes you're just not there. You know, you can see, I don't know, even some of the talk
has off nights, I'm sure.
Well, even talk show people that do it every night, you can tell that there's certain nights they're just not there, and you just can't do it. And sometimes the crowd just isn't interested in the kind of music you're playing. We've been booked in some really strange clubs before. We come out, we played Perryville once, and we come out, you know, we're just jamming and rocking and running back and forth across the stage, and they just looked at us like, what are you doing? You know.
That's what we thought our reaction was going to be in Cape. We're like, we're going to stand here and we're going to get into it in our own way that we do, and these people are going to look at us and, where do these chicks come from?
We played at this place, Herculaneum, Missouri. It was, well, like country.
It was back in the woods.
Yeah, older
The clientele likes country music.
Yeah,
to an extent. We got them, though.
They're like, what, are their necks broken?
Yeah, they were like...
What is thrashing now? What?
You're the speed metal band, you tell them.
You don't want to explain it, because it sounds really...
Okay, well, to all the parents that have ever seen MTV, and you watch it, and they do the quick scene of the thing, and it looks like everybody's slamming their heads into the stage, they're not really doing it.
They're not hitting anything.
They're like coming this close. And it's
yeah, like that.
Okay.
They're more their kind of music, but they do it at our shows occasionally.
Their kind of music. What's your kind of music now?
Well, I don't know, we're categorized as hard rock. We're hard rock metal. We're not really as hard as metal, but we're harder than rock and roll. We're in the middle there somewhere. Okay. Some of the people may remember groups like Led Zeppelin and Rush. We're in that area somewhere or another.
It's so hard to describe music to put just
there's so many different
on
branches.
We just have
entertainment.
Rock and roll and country and elevator music.
Well, we actually thought about going reggae once, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Music.
What kind of musical background do you have?
I've taken some opera lessons and lots of vocal lessons and different things. I grew up originally and wanted to sing gospel. When I was real little, I used to sit in the church choir and pick out individual people in the choir and sing like them. Oh. People would be, wow, you sound just like so-and-so. And then I wanted to sing country for a long time. Groups like, you know, Charlie Daniels and Eddie Rabbitt and Kenny Rogers. And I used to think, wow, that's so cool. And one day, my mom totally messed up. She brought me home a Kiss album, and it was, you know, rock and roll from then on out.
Kiss did it for him.
Yeah, that's what did it. And then a friend of mine introduced me to Ozzy, and it's just downhill completely then.
We only wish we could show you more of what they're talking about, the actual show. We don't have any tape of that we can play because of incompatible electronics here. But anyway, we'll continue this conversation in a moment. But first, the Peace Fest 91, 4 to 9 p.m., Saturday, May 25th, at Kappahaw Park Bandshell in Cape Girardeau. We'll be back with more in just a moment. You all have music lessons? How did you get interested in music? Not necessarily the type of music you play, but how did you become interested in music? Did you start with piano lessons at home or something like that, or?
I picked up the guitar and said, I want to learn. I took lessons from a few different teachers, and just pretty much I practiced all the time to where I could get familiar with my instrument. And
practice.
practice makes perfect.
If you really want to do something, you become a pretty good musician.
Well, if you like it, you do it more. And then I met these guys, and it was just like, yeah, all the way from there. Push.
When I was younger, my sister played guitar and sang. Both my sisters sang. We had a piano in the house. One of them took piano lessons. And they were real big into like Queen and that, so I grew up listening to that sort of stuff. And I always wanted to play bass. I just, you know, like my guy friends would have basses, and I'd be younger, and I'd be like, my fingers don't reach that far. And I wanted a drum set when I was really younger, but my parents wouldn't buy that for me.
No drums for Heather.
So I lost that idea, and then when I was older, I became friends with a guitar player who used to be in the band before she was. And she's like, yeah, you should really pick up bass. And I was like, yeah, I should. I really want to. And I was singing. I took some vocal lessons, and I'm like, because I wanted to write music too. And like I said, I'd been wanting to play, so I finally kicked myself and went out, got a bass, took a couple lessons for about 2 months or so, and the rest has pretty much been self-taught. You know, just being in a band. When I met Kim, our lead player, you know, she helped me out a lot. She taught me a lot. And
but there again, looks like the band is working pretty well together right now.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a joint situation. It's not just her, me, or anyone else in the band. It's all of us.
Yeah, Timexx made a comment a while ago that the music business has changed. It's not a case any longer of where the one person in the band dominates it. It's pretty much a corporate effort or cooperative.
25, 25, 25, 25.
If you got one person, that's telling you this is what we're going to do, then there's chances are going to be 2 to 3 other people that's not going to be happy with doing it. They may do it because they're told to, but they're not going to do it with everything. They're going to just do it because they're told to. But if everybody sits down and says, well, I want to do this, but the drummer, which usually happens, says, I want to do this. You know,
drummers are a little they're independent, right?
Yeah, I think it's all the slamming into things. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but you know, then you take.
They put on their banging.
They got their own thing.
Yeah, if you take everybody though, and you figure out, okay, he wants to do this, and I want to do this. Well, what's right in the middle? And then you go in the middle, then everybody's happy, and everybody will give their you know 150% of it to do it, and it just works out a lot better that way.
Let me read the bio here on Beggars Jury. Beggars Jury is a gutsy rock and metal from the heartland of America, and they're on the cutting edge of mega success, now touring in support of their soon-to-be-released debut LP, Just Because We Can. Southeast Missouri's #1 bad boys will be tearing it up all across the USA and Canada. Hotel owners, beware. They'll be in your town soon. You're not going to burn the hotels, are you?
Well, we actually did have one experience in Cairo. We was down there at the Riverboat Days last year when we was called Briar Rose. I won't go into all the details, but we had a good time.
People who are a little older and out of the scene, they see the dress, they go, and it's music, but there's also what looks like a fireworks display going on too.
Yeah.
There's smoke, there's lights, and they say, well, it's not, you know, it wasn't what I call music.
Well, it's part of an act, you know. We want to put a show on. We want to entertain them. That's what they're there for. That's, you know, when we play bigger shows, sometimes those tickets are $25 a piece. Some of them are, and you know, we want to make sure that there's something there. One time when I was little, Ozzy had made a comment that if they wanted to see your picture, just look at you and listen to your music. They'd sit home with your album, look at the cover, and listen to the tape. If they go, yeah, they want to see it. They want to hear it too, but they want to see something. Like going to a movie, you wouldn't want to go to a movie and just strictly hear the sound. You want to see the picture. You want to see picture. People, you know, that's why I think the car chases, the gun fights, the people diving off buildings in movies go over so well. People want to be entertained, and rock and roll is a lot that way. You know, groups like in the 70s, Alice Cooper, Kiss, and, you know, lately Lizzie Borden, groups like that, you know, and us, and I don't know, they do, you know, a pretty well show too.
The music and the show, right?
And the show,
That's
both.
what it takes to get them out.
Yeah, visually, you got to, it's 50% both ways. You got to give them a show and give them music.
Actually, it's 200%. You got to put 200% because you got to do visual and the hearing.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
There can be times when you you look good and your stage performance is good, but the sound just isn't quite there.
And that sometimes relies on the sound man. You know,
Yeah,
if your sound
that's true,
man
too.
is out there getting drunk, you're obviously not going to have a good
That's not
sound man,
cool.
and then you
That's
fire
not a
the guy
cool
and you
scene.
get somebody
Talking to a
else
girl
in
or
there.
something, or
Yeah, or talking to a girl.
Not paying
or
attention.
Sometimes, you know, maybe the lead guitarist is talking to a girl on the side of the stage, and it's not quite there, but...
In other words,
and then
professionalism is what you...
Yeah.
And
You have to
sometimes,
find
too, though, on those
professionalism.
nights where stuff like that happens, if you are doing a visual show, it kind of covers sometimes because there's so much going on. You know, the lead guitarist is running here, I'm doing backflips, there's something blowing up over here, and lights. If, you know, he hits a bad chord or I, you know, miss a note, they're not going to quite notice it as bad. But that's, you know, part of
That's
it, too.
still no reason to do it, though.
That's no reason to do it. Don't be a
Perfection
poser
is
just to
out.
cover your lame musical abilities, I guess.
There again, practice, practice, practice. Work together well, and be dedicated to it. And
Dedication is number one.
well, we hope the breakthrough comes big for all of you.
So do we.
And you can see these groups. They're going to be coming to Cape Girardeau for Peace Fest 1991. That is on May 25th. It's a Saturday at the Kappa Hall Band Shell, Kappa Hall Park in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Begins at 4 o'clock, maybe a little earlier. But by 4, the music will be playing, and will continue until 9 o'clock, and will end then. And you're the one who's put this together now for 2 years, and to use the line here, it's live, it's loud, it's free, and it's back. Free, that is the main word.
Yeah.
It's free, definitely. Everybody's got no excuse not to show up this time.
First class show.
That's right.
And by the way, what would you spend our time? Had what, several hundred people there last year, and others coming and going?
Yeah, we're hoping that everybody